Hi everyone, welcome back to Nasedyanka, the channel where I talk about Bulgarian everything, culture, tradition, faith, and history, and so forth and so forth. I wanted to dedicate an episode on yogurt, and the home of yogurt. So, I made a brief video of how to prepare yogurt, and I am happy to share that with you, along with some information that I found and translated from a Bulgarian source like I typically do. So I will be talking to you about the history of the Bulgarian yogurt. There is hardly a person who would not agree that Bulgarian cuisine is one of the most diverse and delicious in the world. And if you guys haven't tried it, well, welcome to Bulgaria. You can also see nowadays it's so easy because the internet is full with so many recipes. It's ancient, it's traditional, it's from scratch. Typically, that's what I've grown up with. It boasts a huge number of traditional dishes, from salads and soups to pasta and meat stews, which were eaten centuries ago, if not thousands of years ago, and they continue to be consumed and prepared and used to this date. In the 20th century, one of these dishes glorified the Bulgarian people all over the world. Its taste and healing qualities, our article informs us, became known to everybody, and then many foreign nations began to dispute the merits of its origin. Nevertheless, no one can deny the existence of quite a few reports that it was in the Bulgarian lands that yogurt began its centuries-old existence as an integral part of the life of the people who lived there. Now, if you don't believe me, stop this video, pause it, go to your refrigerators, find a little jar of yogurt, turn to the ingredients and see and read what it says. One of the ingredients says that it has Bactericus bulgaricus. This is the Bulgarian bacteria that can only grow in Bulgaria, and it is necessary for the production of yogurt. It doesn't say Greek bacteria, it doesn't say English bacteria. I'm sorry, counterparts, you all, I like you for who you are, but it is Bulgarian, and this needs recognition because there's been a lot of opposition, and I don't know why people have to oppose facts. A lover of truth and factual information as I am, to me, facts are facts. If we have facts, that's it. And yeah, people will say, oh, it's not always black and white. There are in between, we have to look into the in-between answers. True, many cases when we talk about mental health and emotions. However, I still haven't seen a person who can drive a car by placing their foot both on the gas pedal and the brake. You can't even turn on the switch of a light in your typical normal rooms by putting it somewhere in the middle, unless it's a roundabout kind of a click. In simple words, some things are simply factual, and they are what they are. They are black and white. Sometimes things are in between, yes, like in emotional cases, and we can talk about this in other videos. In our case here, Bulgarian yogurt originates in Bulgaria, period. And you can do a research on this. You can read in depth. Tell me what you find. But I just feel like this needs to be known, and let's celebrate that and acknowledge that. So today, it has become an indispensable ingredient in many other traditional dishes, and Bulgarians in particular we eat yogurt all the time, so we can mix it with water and salt. We make a drink which we call ayran or mătănița. In certain regions of Bulgaria, there are different names for it. We also mix it with chopped cucumber and garlic and oil and dill. We can add sometimes walnuts to that, and we make tărător. This is a cold soup with yogurt and water, of course. We added to stuffed grape leaves. We added to moussaka. We added to any kind of dishes, basically. also to desserts. So unfortunately, there are not many written documents that could tell us about the history of yogurt, and this article pinned it to the point, and that's what bugs me, so I thought about making this video. Nonetheless, one thing is certain, its variations have existed since ancient times, and that is why the descriptions of the Greek historian Herodotus testify, according to whom the Scythians, they thought those were nomadic tribes who lived between Dnieper and Don rivers, consumed fermented mare's milk. Now, the Scythians actually were ancient Bulgarians, and there is a whole bunch of talk on ancient Thracians, and I've talked some about them, and Pavel Serafimov speaks in plenty detail about them. You guys can refer to him, it's just amazing. So the tribes that took a direct or indirect part in the process of formation of the Bulgarian country or state had their traditions in the production of products that were similar to yogurt. Okay, so the Thracians who inhabited our lands, Bulgarian lands, were excellent cattle breeders, which was contributed by the favorable geographical location of our country, the climate, and the fertile soils. Thanks to the numerous herds, they actually began to consume prokish, or it's like a dairy product that was obtained by mixing fermented milk, and I am reading this here. It was mixed with freshly boiled milk. This fact is documented, they say, in the book of Georgici, by the Roman poet Publius Virgilius Maron, where he writes about the Thracian tribe Bizati, who inhabited the present-day lands of Shumen, these are Bulgarian cities, by the way, currently, Târgoviște and Varna, my native city. So they inhabited those regions, and they drank yogurt mixed with horse blood. This is a quotation mark. Now, I have not tried that. I don't think that I'm interested in horse blood. But hey, that's what they did at that point. At least we can be honest about that. Before the Proto-Bulgarians inhabited the Bulgarian lands, and again, I've spoken in a different video that Bulgarians used to migrate and travel, and they used to create states or like countries wherever they would go. So there were Bulgarians who left the Thracians, their Bulgarian ancestors. They went to Asia, and then some facts, some talk about America and other parts of the world like Egypt. But then later, those who had migrated to Asia actually returned to their ancestors back to the Balkan Peninsula. So they're speaking about those. That's who they kind of call the Proto-Bulgarians. So before they actually returned to the Balkan lands, they lived for a long time in the southern Russian steppes and the lower reaches of the Volga River. I will talk to you guys in the future about the Volga, Bulgaria. They are also known to have been excellent herdsmen, with the most numerous herds of horses due to the fact that they served military purposes. So those Bulgarians used the milk from the mares for food by placing it in leather pouches, like bags, made from the stomachs of the animals. And to this date, my grandparents still use the stomach to create, to prepare other types of food. I will talk to you about recipes gladly in the future. The resulting dish of what those ancient Bulgarians did was called kumis. It was served as a staple food during military campaigns. So the Slavs, according to this article, also ate sura, a product that was obtained by placing yogurt in wooden containers in the summer and consuming it in the winter by liquefying it with water to drink it. The ancient Bulgarians rediscovered the sheep's milk that was used by the Thracians and the Slavs, and then also the mare's milk was gradually replaced The fact that sheep's milk contained more nutrients also contributed to this situation. In addition to all that, the Proto-Bulgarians adopted the tradition that was left to them by the Thracians, again the more ancient Bulgarian ancestors, and they began to heat the milk on the fire and to leaven it in clay and wooden vessels instead of leather sacks. So since sheep's milk was richer in proteins and fats, a thick white mixture was obtained during fermentation, which they called yogurt. Or we call it kiselo mleko, which practically in Bulgarian language stands for sour milk. We don't have two separate words like you guys in English will say milk and yogurt. We say milk and sour milk. Anyways, there are also theories rather than legendary in nature, rather than legends, there are theories about the further spread of yogurt. Like other ideas, people have said that according to one of those theories, this process began in the year of 1345 when the Bulgarians were attacked by the Seljuk Turks, who took huge herds of sheep and many captives with them to Asia Minor. On the way, the captured Bulgarians prepared yogurt, which was their only and single food. So it is a fact that until then, the Turks did not use milk for food. It's also a fact that before that, there was no mention of yogurt, nor ayran, which nowadays is a Turkish word. But there was no mention up until then of yogurt anywhere in the Turkish history. According to this theory, from Asia Minor, yogurt basically spread from there to Syria and Egypt, and it also began to appear in many countries where the Bulgarians reigned or where Bulgarians have been occupied. So whether Bulgarians reigned or they were occupied, they spread the yogurt. Interesting. It is also believed that the tradition, which started from the Bulgarian lands, passed through Central Asia and reached as far as Mongolia, India, and Tibet. I was pleasantly surprised when I moved to America to learn from a friend from Japan how popular Bulgarian yogurt is. And she informed me that they actually know that it originates in Bulgaria. Their candies that are made with yogurt state it's Bulgarian yogurt candy. And it was just really pleasant and interesting because the Western world did not know that kind of stuff, and I kind of felt left out back there then. But now I'm talking about it. So, coming back to this, one more piece of information this article informs us of is that in the period between when Bulgaria was under the Turkish yoke, yogurt began to appear throughout the empire. It is known that until the Balkan War, the dairies in Constantinople were exclusively owned by Bulgarians. Initially, they produced milk only for the Bulgarian population, but later they managed to introduce the use of yogurt among the Turkish population as well. In Europe, the product spread thanks to the French king François I, to be correct. It is known that he suffered from severe and incurable diarrhea and turned for help to his ally, the Ottoman Sultan Süleyman the Magnificent at the time. So he, in his turn, sent him a physician who cured him with a diet that included sour milk, in other words, yogurt, Bulgarian yogurt. And in gratitude, François I spread the word throughout Europe about this magnificent food remedy, which had succeeded in curing, or I should say it had reached success in curing him. In the 20th century, in the then famous Pasteur Institute in Paris, the Russian biologist Ilya Mechnikov initiated the first in-depth studies of yogurt. According to him, the aging of people is just a disease like any other that's caused by the fact that the protein substances in the large intestines rot, which produces toxic amines that are harmful to humans. So then he performed a study, the results of which showed that Bulgaria has the most or the biggest number, the largest number of centenarians in excellent health. I know personally people like that. Mechnikov began to claim that this is due to the fact that Bulgarians consume yogurt daily, which has a strong antimicrobial effect and the ability to settle in the intestines. At that time, the great Bulgarian scientist Stamen Grigorov began his work, who for the first time managed to isolate the bacterium causing the fermentation of yogurt that is called Lactobacillus delbrueckii bulgaricus. So that's the proper name. In this way, he finally managed to give an explanation of where the healing properties of the dairy product come from in reality, and he was able to kind of like spread it and glorify it all over the world. I think that's neat. From that moment on until today, no product has been able to displace yogurt from the Bulgarian traditional table. In Stamen Grigorov's home village, there is even a museum that's entirely dedicated to Bulgarian yogurt, where you can learn more about its history and how it is made. You also have the opportunity there to see traditional vessels in which yogurt was once prepared, the product that has become a daily routine for Bulgarians and a delicacy for foreigners. So I will share with you also that in my personal experience when I've made yogurt, I followed a bunch of recipes first that were just in English, and they were westernized, popularized, and I severely failed. It simply didn't work. I have heard from other Bulgarians that they have purchased products. You all might be familiar with those. They are electrical devices. You can plug them into the electricity. They're supposed to be warming the milk up to the appropriate temperature, but they said that it also doesn't produce a thick enough yogurt. I learned from a Bulgarian priest and asking around my Bulgarian friends that actually the production of yogurt is super easy. First of all, you should never be using yogurt that's sold in the stores unless it is organic Bulgarian yogurt, and typically organic stores will have that. It has to be organic Bulgarian yogurt because that's what contains that particular bacteria we're talking about that's going to start your real yogurt. And then you have to have real raw milk. I get raw cow's milk from farmers. You have to dig and look for your local farmers. And so this real raw milk, you're going to boil it, making sure that it doesn't burn in the pot that you're boiling it in. And once you boil it, you have to let it cool a little bit. Now, how cool it is, I know this from the old people in Bulgaria. I don't use any thermometers. I don't care for that kind of stuff. It doesn't help me anyway. But they taught us that we should use our pinky. When you're capable of putting your pinky in the milk, and you can count up to 10, so up to 10 seconds, no less than that and no longer than that, that's your correct temperature. So clearly, if you just boiled the milk and you cannot touch it, it's not time to add your yogurt. If you put it and you count up to 3 and it gets too hot, you pull your finger, you don't add the yogurt. But if you can keep your pinky and you count up to 10, 1, 2, 3, and so forth until 10, it's time. At this point, you add 1 spoonful is enough. 2 spoonfuls is probably going to be plenty, but you can do that, why not, of this organic Bulgarian yogurt. You drop it there. You don't even have to stir it. It really doesn't matter, but if you're happy with it, you can stir it. And then you have to maintain that temperature. And how we do it in Bulgaria is the container I use is a clay pot. I have a kind of like a round pear-shaped clay pot, and then I cover it and I wrap it up with as many 100% woolen blankets as possible. I've heard people wrap it up with jackets and modern day kind of clothes, plastic stuff. It doesn't work as well. It has to be woolen, and you have to maintain that temperature. And basically, you're wrapping it up like a baby. And then after about probably 6 hours, sometimes a little longer, it gets super thick. Now, if your temperature dropped, it's going to be watery, liquidish. And so that means you just have to bring it up a little bit. The temperature, you have to bring it up a little bit, not to boil it, because you don't want to be killing the bacteria. This is living bacteria. And you just have to wrap it up and put it in a warmer place, maybe by your window, for example, in a warmer room. So you can imagine this would how long it takes to prepare this yogurt and what the quality is going to be also would depend on the season. So if you're preparing it in the summer, it may turn out thicker sooner. I should say thick sooner. But if you're preparing it in the winter, it may be a little more challenging because you have to maintain that temperature. And honestly, it's really easy. You cannot go wrong. Even if it's liquid, all you do is you just warm it up and you just leave it there, stay warm for another as many hours as it needs it. A couple more hours basically. But yeah, I'll be happy to share with you a video and share with me in the comment sections if you have any reflections, thoughts, and questions. I hope this brought some smiles to you. I hope it was entertaining and fun, but also maybe brought some, health advice and insights from a fun perspective, from a cool perspective, from a Bulgarian perspective. By all means, if you like this channel, please remember to subscribe. And it is encouraging. It feels really good to see that I have, people who enjoy this. And of course, if you don't like it, just stay away from it. It's kind of like that simple. I will continue to update you all, and I hope the rest of your week goes well. Let me know how your yogurt went, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. And so this is the point when I am going to remove it from the stove, and I'm going to place it in a separate container. You don't have to be placing it in a different container, but I'm going to be reusing my other one. So it's going to be safe in there. Wow, that's amazing. Using this one, wow, it's going to fill up to the top. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so I have prepared, like I said earlier, this is already prepared Bulgarian yogurt. It is organic Bulgarian yogurt. If you have been making yogurt, you're always going to have your own, and this is the time to add that. So I'm going to use a spoon. Some people say stir it, but many people say they don't even stir it, and it's not a big deal. But it really doesn't matter. And so at this point, wow, this is the cream. It's amazing. At this point, I'm just going to close it, and I have to wrap it up so that it can remain really warm in blankets.
Господи Боже наш, като благи човеколюбец, прости ми каквото съгреших през този ден, с думи, с дело и с помисъл. Дай ми мирен и спокоен сън, изпрати Твой ангел пазител да ме закрили и пази от всяко зло, защото Ти си пазител на нашите души и тела, и затова Тебе слава възнасяме. На Отца и Сина и Светия Дух, и сега и винаги, и во веки веков. Амин. Господи Исусе Христе, Сине Божий, помилуй грешна. Господи Исусе Христе, Сине Божий, помилуй грешна. Господи Исусе Христе, Сине Божий, помилуй грешна. Слава Тебе, Господи Боже наш, Станали от сън, падаме пред Тебе, благи, и Ти пеем силни ангелската песен. Свят, свят, свят си, Боже, заради Богородица, помилуй нас. Слава на Отца и Сина и Светия Дух. Отлегло и съм един на Господи, просвети моето сърце и отвори устните ми, за да Те възпявам, Свята Троице. Свят, свят, свят си, Боже, заради Богородица, помилуй нас. И сега и винаги, и во веки веков. Амин. Неочаквано ще дойде съдията на всех, делата ще се открият, но със страх зовем в полунощ. Свят, свят, свят си, Боже, заради Богородица, помилуй нас. Господи, помилуй, 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 Господи, помилуй,